What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. We are live here with another top 10 on YouTube and Twitch, but Twitch chat can't behave as usual. So we're just gonna go ahead and get into our discussion with some cards. It's a bit of personal taste, but also a bit of chat's taste on what we would like to see rarity bumped. We have OTS pack 9 instead of restarting with a fresh new pack like usual. Almost all the reprint packs kind of end on that set of 8. But we're going to talk about rarity bumps, and on the screen is an honorable mention, because I'm not a huge fan of Floodgates, but Rivalry of the Warlords, I think that and Gozen Match, it's about times they get their super rares, kind of bring them down in price with the reprint, while also giving a rarity bump. That would be an honorable mention for me. Another honorable mention that I'm not the biggest fan of how dark the art is, but I'd really like to see maybe in secret rare rather than ultimate rare, is Abyss Dweller. I think it would really shine as a secret rare, but an ultimate rare might just be too dark for the picture, which is why it hasn't been approached. And finally, honorable mention, which really torn me from the top 10 versus being in, is Mirror Force. Oh, yes, I'd love an ultimate for my GOAT format, but for modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, it doesn't fit in, and I don't know when it will again. Mirror Force Launcher doesn't really bring this to the forefront of competitive play, and while I love hollowing out old stuff, it does have a secret rare already. It has so many different ways that you can get it, so I don't think it's necessarily needed or, you know, want to compare to the others. So let's just go ahead and get into our top 10, starting with our number 10, which is Dino Wrastler Prank Retops. I think this card was really awesome that it was released to us as a common. Just imagine it rarity bumped to a secret rare, $30 a piece. Konami actually had the players in mind when they were putting this in the common slot, and a lot of people argue it being the best card in the set. But I would like to see, for those competitive players, a super rare at least in our, you know, astral packs, so to speak, our tournament, our OTS packs. It'd be nice to see Prank Retops get that slot so that, you know, alongside those deck profiles, you're seeing that nice, shiny, super rare, and also just a different variant that really kind of gives it the credence of the power that it has, having that hollow foil shine. It would do it for me, kind of like we get the upgrades for dinosaurs and the packs. I'd really like to see this along with that go ahead and get its rarity bump. Next up is something I think I'd need specifically an ultimate rare for my fashion, but kind of undervalued for what it is. Nightmare Phoenix would look amazing as an ultimate rare. I think anytime you have that bright back and then the pink, I'd love to see it an ultimate rare sheen. And the Nightmares, I feel like they have so much going. It pops a back row, it offers continuous protection, and also is a transitional piece. So while it might seem like an odd slot, I'd rather see this than something like Link Spider Ultimate Rare. I think it'll last longer for the competitive players, and I think it would look really awesome. In our number 8 slot from Yu-Gi-Oh! XOR, actually, another Yu-Gi tuber suggested Turia Beast. This would have slipped my mind completely from this list. Long time card, and it does have that higher quote-unquote rarity with the dual terminal ultra rare and also being a secret on release. But it's about time we give this the credence it's due, an ultimate rare. I think Turia Beast is just one of the best cards ever made, making its appearance even in, you know, a Nationals winning list of Burning Abyss with reasons to play Gallus the Star Beast, or Bird, or whatever you call that card, and other Earths, Rescue Cat. Like, Turia Beast just has its own power, and it's going to come back. Like, Sky Striker is a spell-driven deck. You're going to have decks like that format after format. Maybe the return of another Pendulum deck will be the next time we'll see this coming. In our next slot, in the number 7 position, we got Pot of Desires. Now, this has an ultimate rare in the OCG Rarity Collection, and I'd certainly like to see it in the TCG for us. Pot of Desires is kind of lacking when you look at the rest of the pots. We got Greed has an ultimate rare. Avarice has an ultimate rare. Duality has an ultimate rare. It's about time you join the others, Pot of Desires, and get your own ultimate rare here in the TCG. You've done so much, one of the most debated cards of all time as is. Oh, it's a neg 9. We coined the whole phrase around this card. So definitely something I would like to see moving forward in our kind of astral packs, and it pushes its weight around. It's going to come back for formats and see play in decks. Now, something I think definitely should get a rarity bump in our number 6 position, Beatrice. When are we going to stop just having the gold rare of this card? When, I ask you. For too long, you've overlaid on top of Dante in just premium gold, as many call it piss and glitter. But Beatrice has done so much more, and you actually see it in some decks where you play Malicious and you fusion summon with Destiny Heroes, actually overlay, make its effect so you can use it in that current turn. And it's not just tied to Burning Abyss any longer. But for the most part, that is where you'll see it, and I'd like to see the option. You know, the other slot for this would have been Dante, but I would certainly like to see Beatrice in another rarity than just gold rare. Almost anything's an upgrade from there, and I know a ton of you like gold rares. Going classic with the next 5. And our number 5 slot is Monster Reborn in our TCG art. The OCG does have the Ankh in its ultimate rarity, but the TCG art, I almost argue, is more iconic to a lot of duelists that started out playing with starter deck Yugi and Kaiba here in the USA. I personally really like the addition, how much further they went to make this symbolic, and for me, ultimate rare would mean a lot with how the actual fading out comes out. You have the white against the darker and lighter blues, and the red in the middle. You can make this a very, very beautiful ultimate rare, in my opinion. You have Secret, you have Super, you have Ultra. I think for such a classic that's been activated in the anime so many times, for such a card that has come off the Forbidden and Limited list with such debate and over time just been accepted, I'd like to see it in that rarity. Now, this is one that wasn't even on my list until chat got to it. Mirror Force was honestly somewhat in this slot for me. Our number 4 slot is Reinforcement of the Armies. 6 Samurai player guilty, Warrior lover, oh yeah, and even in the modern day, oh, we're looking out for Armageddon Knight, Dark Grepher in our FTKs, Satellar Knight format. It's lived through the ages at 1 on the ban list. But I would love to see, you got that dark blue into light again, the armor, the ability to create this amazing art and ultimate rare where you can really make it pop and make the different kind of figures stand out. It's had its history in the game, it has the perfect art for it. I would be a huge supporter of this one. Now in the number 3, some of you guys might argue with me on rarity bump into ultimate rare, but Goldsarcophagus, yes, it has its prize card. I won the last one of them. Goldsarcophagus, I'd love to see an ultimate rare. It's just so iconic with the puzzle being stored inside, the card being activated in that final duel with Yugi versus Yugi, and really its importance even coming back today in Thunder Dragon, showing yes, I can be meta relevant, I can come back into the modern game, and years down, there's going to be the effects that get off banishing that from the deck are going to be used and abused with Goldsarcophagus, in my opinion. This is just iconic from the original show, iconic as a prize card, and I think it is a bump to give it ultimate rare, but of course the prize cards are always going to be worth more. Let's not get carried away. But there's already an ultra rare reprint. Why don't we go ahead and give this an ultimate rare somewhere down the line? Next up, you're back at 3. Nice to see ya. Black Luster Soldier Envoy at the beginning. Actually being played in decks such as Burning Abyss and Thunder Dragons mentioned earlier in this list. Black Luster Soldier has this just ability to come back in formats. And I remember people were having discussions how busted the game was that Black Luster Soldier isn't even being played when it came back off the list. And then went to 2 and went to 3. Now look at us. It's coming back and touching down like a tornado and going through fields, having its time, getting Thunder Dragon effects, now also with just Burning Abyss, clamoring over and helping you actually put power on a board where 2500 and 2800 was kind of lacking just a little. I think Black Luster Soldier for me, the Chaos era, definitely was very iconic, but I think even to modern day duelists, there's just a kind of respect for this card. And in the number 1 position, I would have never won my event without this card, but, you know, Strike has an ulti. Warning has an ulti. How about our Solemn Judgment? I think Solemn Judgment and Ant of by far deserves that ultimate rare. Honestly, I'd love to see the halos added to the art, but Solemn Judgment is just one of the classics, and I think it's even peeled off, I want to say to 2 in the OCG, but we have it at 1 here in the TCG. You have those blues and whites I'm talking about, the standout, the ability to pop out and have the figures in the back also highlighted. I am a huge fan of Solemn Judgment. I enjoy this card in terms of its ability to just say no and its iconicness to the game. And even with traps being somewhat power crept in the game today, I think there's a lot of old school duelists that would appreciate seeing this one come out. Now again, this is personal taste. It's a personal list and opinion. I'd love to hear yours because there's so many cards that deserve rarity bumps, and you could put some higher on this list and others that you think. Of course, there's classics mixed in with brand new as we're looking at this entire list, and not everything's meant for ultimate rare in my opinion, but I definitely think I've got a decent amount of taste. It's not just trash tier, is it? But I'd love to hear what you'd love to see rarity bumped in future OTS packs, be it super or ultimate. Tie the rarity to it and tell me why and what it actually means to you. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the discussion, subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for watching, guys.